y'all doing today? It has been a minute. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Excuse the face and hair. We're in the middle of this crazy time with COVID-19 and all that junk. So I was thinking the other day, can I talk to you for a minute? I feel like we haven't talked. So a few days ago we decided to paint half the house. I think I hear my dog coming. Come on, Minty. You see him? There he is. I'll move. See, there he is. Hi, buddy. He's got to be a part of things. So anyways, we decided to paint. So if you see kind of like some paint on me, you know, that's just what we've been doing. But this is the new color on the walls. We're also doing the living room like that, so I'm really excited about it. But anyways, the purpose of the video today is to talk about surviving edTPA. And any of you teacher candidates out there know, or teachers that have done the edTPA know that it is just, honestly, it's awful. It's one of those things where unfortunately we have to do it to get our career started, but it is a big deal, a big process, and it's very detailed. So I kind of wanted to just kind of show you guys, sorry, there's kind of a glare, but I actually had a different binder cover in here, but my program gave us these red binders, so I decided to try to make mine a little bit prettier, which isn't necessary, but I'm just extra like that. So my binder cover actually said Miss Young's edTPA binder instead of Whitney Young's residency binder. So, but I wanted to put this in there just to kind of show you what it did look like. So I think first I'm kind of just going to go through like the sectioning of my binder, and then just kind of some tips that I found that were very helpful when I went through my edTPA experience, and even student teaching in general. I did pass, so I'm very thankful about that. I'm very thankful that I did pass edTPA, and my friends passed their edTPA as well, so I'm really happy for them. We spent a lot of nights together in the library on campus. One of the biggest things, before I get into this binder, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but one of the biggest things that I did find that is very helpful during my program is finding a small group of people and creating a study group, even though we are in our student teaching and there's not really like tests going on. It is very helpful to find just a small group of people to bounce ideas off of, and can you proofread things, and just, sorry, my dog is making noise in the back, so if you hear like weird grunting, I'll show you. We've got curtains on the floor right now because we're still putting our room back together, but that's what he does. So if you hear that, don't mind him. Anyways, but it is helpful to, you know, get a group of people together, because honestly it can be very draining and emotional, and so it's good just to have some people that are going through exactly what you're going through and creating that bond. So now we'll get into it, I promise. So like I said, my program gave us the binders, and they also gave us these really big thick packets that is like the edTPA handbook, making good choices, and I did mine over mathematics. If you do yours over literacy, there's a separate packet for that, but they should provide you with both. I just threw the literacy one out because I chose math instead. So, but it's the same concept. So I'm opening this up, and I created a table of contents, and I color coded it. So my program gave us these big thick binder sections. So I have a yellow, a red, a white, and a green. I ended up going to Walmart, and I also purchased some more binder sections, these little tabs, and it'll say like A, B, C, D all the way to Z. So in between each section I also have like smaller sections. So I have a personal laminator. I ended up printing this table of contents out because I got rid of my other one, and I'm sorry, it's backwards. But I created a table of contents section, and I also have a pink tab that they did give us, and my pink tab is my work section. And honestly, I ended up not really putting anything back there because everything for edTPA nowadays is all online on your computer. So yeah. But so my first section, it's my yellow tab, and this is kind of just where I put just kind of like the basic information, where I didn't, to be completely honest, I didn't really go back and use this section all of that often, except for the glossary. So the first part in here, I had my assessment handbook, which I broke up my assessment handbook into many sections because within this document, it gave you information about each part of the edTPA. And for those of you that don't know, edTPA is broken up into 3 tasks. You have task 1, which is your planning, your task 2, which is your instruction portion, which is where you're actually presenting the content and filming and stuff like that. And then task 3 is all about your assessment portion. So this is where you're looking and analyzing your video footage and the worksheets that you get from students and all that stuff, and you're seeing, well, how effective was my instruction based on the assessment that I chose to give. So that's kind of what task 3 is all about. So yeah, so my yellow tab has my professional responsibilities. So I have like an A section. Oops, can't even see it. So this kind of just gives you an overview about, like, as a teacher, these are some things that is acceptable, not acceptable, things like that. Just kind of like an overview, which in my opinion, it's kind of like, you should know this by now, but because by this point in your college career, like, you should know not to plagiarize. You should know that you need to always cite your sources and make sure that you're aligning with the state standards, because as a teacher, that's what you're teaching. So anyways, that's the first section. And then this next section that I had was my mathematics glossary. This was so helpful because with the edTPA, there's like a lot of like language things going on, and like the verbiage is kind of confusing at times on the rubrics and stuff and in the handbook. So the glossary is going to be your best friend. And I don't know if you can see, but I highlighted important information in yellow, and then every other vocab word I kind of alternated between pink and orange. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Just so I could see like the different words and stuff, because in my mind I'm very visual, and so colors really help, and it does help with your memory as well using colors. So the biggest thing with your edTPA handbook and your binder that you create, write in it. Make it visually appealing for yourself. Make sure that you're taking notes, because with edTPA, we also had to go to meetings 1 night a week with someone from the state to kind of help us, walk us through this process. So during that meeting, I know it's late at night, I know that you're really tired after teaching all day, but trust me, take notes in your binder. Like, they're there to help you, and as long as you are asking questions and you know what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So honestly, as frustrating and overwhelming and tired that you are, jump into it with 2 feet, because they're giving you this resource, so take advantage of it. So my next section is just kind of, it's understanding the academic language. It's again some more detailed information, so I'm going to kind of speed through this because it's really boring. And then I had just kind of a little part of the making good choices section in my next kind of section in here, which is just kind of, honestly, I didn't really read it that much, so, because it's just whatever. So my last section in the yellow tab is understanding rubric level progressions, and so it's kind of just, this is just the very beginning. Sorry, he's whining. Munchie. Let me put him up on the bed. Here's my other dog, Noelle. Actually, she's my sister's dog, but she's still the baby. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Hopefully they will not be crazy. So now we're getting into the good stuff. Here is my red tab section. Here's the first thing that I have. And this is just a general explanation for task 1. So task 1 is your planning. And I can't stress this enough, but really take the time to plan. And the reason I say that is because I thought I took enough time to plan, but then as I went through, I decided once I got to my instruction part, which is my actual teaching, the learning segment, there was some things that I needed to go back on. So really take the time now and really plan everything and think about all the little things that could go wrong and how you're going to combat them. Because if you already know some possibilities or some directions that the kids could go in ahead of time, you'll know kind of what your response would be, or how to make decisions later on in the process to help you. So just kind of go ahead and use your teacher brain and think of, okay, what if they think X, Y, and Z? How am I gonna go from here to here? So take the time to really plan. My next tab in the planning section is going to be your context for learning, okay? So your context for learning is basically just talking about your classroom demographics. What is your population of students like? Are there any students that are English language learners? Are there any students that have other types of disabilities, or are they gifted? You know, so this is your time to just explain your classroom population to the grader. This section isn't actually graded in edTPA, however, they are going to use it as a reference material. So you want to make sure that it is written really well. And another thing is edTPA gives you a template, and you have to use that template, okay? Do not deviate from that template. Use what they gave you and make sure that all the information is in there. Kind of a tip, which I guess I should save it for later on in the video, but I don't really care. Any of the bolded words that they have, on your rubrics, make sure it's in your written statement. So make sure that, you know, if it's talking about discourse, make sure that you say a discourse in this, or, you know, use better verbiage than that. But if it's bolded, make sure that you literally state it. Okay, so that's context for learning. And then after that, I made a section of the evidence chart. This is basically saying during the planning task 1 section of the edTPA that you submit, these are the things that you will submit as documents, okay? So for planning task 1, there's 5 parts, okay? You've got your context for learning, you have your lesson plans, you have instructional materials, you have your assessments, and you also have your planning commentary, okay? So in this tab, I put the chart that says everything that's in here, and then they also give you in the handbooks explanations, just information about each section. So I put that behind this chart just because the way my mind works is I like to group things that are alike together. Because once you go through this process, there's a lot of wheels turning in your brain, and between the tabs and the table of contents, it just takes that pressure off. I don't have to spend hours looking for one page in this thing. I can just flip to the section, find it real quick, and keep it pushing. So that's what I did there. And I gotta sit down here and crisscross. Okay. So the next thing I have is the remaining tabs in this section are the different rubrics. So with each part, or with each task, task 1, 2, and 3, there's going to be 5 rubrics per task. So for the remaining tabs in this section are just the different rubrics. So here's rubric 1, And behind this chart, let me just take it out so it's easier. So this chart kind of shows like a levels 1, 2, 3, all the way to 5. And so, you know, 1 being unacceptable, 5 being amazing. It kind of just tells you like some things that you can include in order to get to that level. Because as teachers, we are graded using the team rubric, which is a scale from 1 to 5. So they want us to kind of aim for that. So I just put each rubric in here, and then under the next page after that chart, they give you, it's called planning rubric 1, which is just kind of like explaining the rubric and like what you're really supposed to do. So behind that chart of each rubric, I also have the explanation for what they're looking for. So I kind of did that, and so each section is just pretty much the same as far as that goes. You know, at the beginning of each tab, I have, you know, an explanation for, you know, like this is explanation for task 2, and then I go on with the tabs that says, you know, the next rubric and all that stuff. So that's kind of how I set up my binder. It's the same way. The only different part is I'm going to kind of go back a little bit to my task 1 section. And at the very end of my task 1 section, I did include the information about video recording. Just because for me, how my brain works, like for task 2, you're going to start video recording. So I wanted to put it before task 2 to force myself to really read it, to know, okay, before I get in to teach this learning segment, this is what I need on camera. And so I highlighted a lot in this section. I made a lot of notes in this section because it is really important. So that's kind of what I did. So this is how I set up my binder. And I'm not gonna lie, it did take a little while. They wanted us to set up our binders a different way, but for me, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna be using this thing a lot, and I want it how I want it. So that's how I set up my binder for edTPA. And you live with this thing for 8 weeks. So, but creating the table of contents and organizing your binder how you want, it's really beneficial. And I actually, a lot of my friends saw this and they were like, ooh, I want that. So I just ended up emailing it to them, which is fine by me. I'm gonna adjust just a little bit. But here's some, kind of want to move on into some tips. During my time with edTPA, the biggest thing, you know, I talked about earlier is definitely developing a group of friends, having a community where everyone's going, like actively going through it, because there's going to be nights when you're just so frustrated. There's going to be nights when you just want to cry. You don't know if you're going to do it right, but you're just trusting the process. And it's really good to have that solid group of friends. It's like, nope, we're going to get through this together. We are going to do this. And it was such a blessing to have that with them. Another thing is, I actually, you know what? I'll be right back because I want to get something. Okay, round 2. No, I actually wanted to pick up and show you some things that I really used a lot during my entire student teaching experience. So the way that my program at my university went, we had a total of 3 placements. Well, we were supposed to have a total of 3 placements whenever we were student teaching. However, with the recent COVID-19 events, I only got to go to 2 placements. So I was kind of bummed, you know, because I really like seeing how a bunch of different teachers do things, because as teachers we, you know, steal everything, and when I say steal I mean like, you know, steal cool ideas and kind of twist it and make it your own. But it is what it is. But here's some things that I definitely used a lot. One is I got a composition notebook. I actually have gone through 2 notebooks. This is my second one and I'm almost done with it. And with my composition notebooks, I just took notes of everything I saw. I wrote down lesson plan ideas. I used it during meetings, wrote down standards. So I just kind of use this every day in my teacher bag along with my edTPA binder. Because instead of using a bunch of loose leaf pages, it was easier just to throw this in my bag, pull it out when I needed it, and take my pencil pouch, and that's just what I did. So those are the things that I always had with me. Another thing is I got this little bag at Walmart, and it's cute, I guess. It's, you know, it says save the drama for your llama. It's kind of cute, but I got this as my technology bag. So in here I have headphones, a phone charger, and a SIM card for my camera. And so another thing that I had was my external little hard drive. 1 second. Hey! Huh? Oh. I don't know. Do you think she's okay? Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, we've got some crazy stuff going on at the house. But anyway, so another thing that was very helpful for me was having a external hard drive. I took my Cricut and kind of made these letters, so I thought that was cute. But this thing is a lifesaver. It's got 1 terabyte of storage. My boyfriend actually got this for me for my birthday, and he was like, it's not that exciting, but it is really exciting because this thing is amazing. I have all my school stuff on here. I have my professional resume and stuff on here, so this is a gem, and I just put all this stuff in this little pouch. All my edTPA stuff is on here. Any student teaching materials I had. This was very helpful. It is kind of expensive. It's about, I think this was like $50, maybe $60 at Walmart. But it is worth it. It's worth every penny. And I've got so much stuff on here. Pretty much my entire computer is backed up on here. And I haven't even used like a fourth of the storage. So it is worth it. I do recommend though, like with your teaching stuff, because you're going to get so many things, I recommend getting two, one for personal stuff and then one for school and professional things. So once I graduate, I'll probably pick up another one of these and just keep it like at my home, to keep like all my pictures and stuff like that. So this is essential. It's really great and I highly recommend it. So it all just lives in here. Another kind of tip that I have for you guys about edTPA is work on it every day. It is maddening and there's going to be many nights when you don't want to do it, but I'm telling you, you have to keep up with it. Do not procrastinate. I knew of some people in my program that did procrastinate and they were extremely stressed out, and some people were not successful because of that. So work on it a little bit each day. I'm not gonna lie, there were many nights that I would get home, take a shower, sit at the kitchen table, and work on edTPA till I went to bed. It is a grueling 8-week process, but you can do anything for 8 weeks. So it is hard, it is frustrating, but you can do it. So work on it a little bit each night. You will be rewarded. However, on the flip side of that is, pick one day a week. I chose mine on Sunday because we just went to church and then I'd like have the afternoon. Try to pick a day a week and try to get just a small chunk of time to where you either take a nap, you do your nails, like pamper yourself or whatever, because you're gonna go crazy if you don't. So it doesn't have to be a whole day, you know, pick a couple hours in the day where you're like, you know what, from 2:30 to 4:30, I'm just gonna sleep, or I'm just gonna do my nails. So do something, and then once you're done with that TPA and you've submitted it, do something normal. You know, I know for me, I submitted mine. It was due on the 12th, and I submitted mine on the 8th of that month. And the first thing I did was take a nap. And it really wasn't a nap. It was like I slept a good chunk of time, like maybe 4 hours. But just do something normal and don't stress yourself out about it. After you've submitted it, it's all you can do, and just trust the process. So, yeah, those are really my tips on edTPA and my binder. But yeah, it was really nice talking to you guys. Sorry this video is kind of chunky, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm happy to kind of make some videos. Being stuck in quarantine has kind of got my creative juices flowing. So yeah, but anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.